I can further explain a few things that need to be explained in my video series. We live in a world where there's a new contraption. People can eavesdrop all over the world on each other. Um, it gets to be a bit of existential nausea, as Sartre would say. Um, when somebody's anonymously singling you out the way Trumpy Tune anonymously singled me out. There's a spectrum of individuals who relish the idea of mass murder. We saw what the horrible things that were done to the Jews in Europe less than 100 years ago. And we should have been very careful of the survivors because what was unimaginable to us, despite bringing refugees to their communities, had been their reality, their unexplainable reality. And unfortunately, to explain it, they conducted some insane experiments. Well, the majority of people prefer to just disbelieve. That was one of the things that many Jews observed when the warnings began in the 30s, 20s, and 30s about the concentration camps, and people cold shouldered it, denied it, the way we're denying climate change. It's a relatively larger spectrum of people that a rational person would not begrudge, as Aragorn said in The Lord of the Rings, which is a good moral novel. As long as these people are happy and safe, they can scorn me all they want to. But it is possible to hate the deniers more than the perpetrators, theoretically. In the same way that it's possible to be turned out of fear for yourself on someone else, which is the Orwellian dimension. It's a subtler Orwellian dimension. Well, there's a whole host of people who laugh at the torture of another person, which includes um, this consortium of people who laugh at victims of torture include a wide spectrum of American and British rock stars. Make a joke of horrible genocidal crimes. And that's their nature for some reason. Well, in order to, Welzel said to me before AIDS was known, what would you think of a scheme to transform the human race by injecting the blood? And then he was found to be part of a culture that had used a nerve agent on me, had heckled me with attack prostitutes, and set up an AIDS testing war game on Mount Desert Island, which the Mysterians from Europe are still using for hypnography about poison. They poisoned me in the mouth, claiming it was a purification ritual right before they released COVID, which the queers call building momentum in Seattle. They're really, really arrogant with their stupidity. And it's dangerous to cross them with the truth. Well, Zell did speak that. But the way that Pittsburgh maneuvered and my peers maneuvered was to say it was gaslighting. You know, we were laughing at you, we were making you afraid so that we could laugh at you. And this was what they considered as a class funny. I mean, if you have a class reunion of these vultures, it would star Ming Na Wen, Amanda Harcourt, Peter Gabriel, Woody Allen, Ronald Reagan, Michael Reagan, would star Sting, who Ming really liked, and it would star the people who tortured me and the girl who wrote the script about the whole thing. And it would, Bushy Tune would come with Trumpy Tune, and they'd be regaled. We proved the Carl brothers right because the genocide warrant was appropriate towards a two-timer. And the stupid women in Seattle went along with us. I mean, it's really sad. It's really, really very, very sad. But that's how, I mean, if you want to explain it, you got to get to the root of what gaslighting is, which is there's a movie about it starring an old Nazi actress named Ingmar Bergman. Gaslighting means try to convince somebody that they're mad so that you can lock them up and bed them and get gratification at their expense. Remember, the person who Amanda Harcourt is still working most intimately with for Crook Agri-Gusterkaran was Attica State Prison psychiatrist. It's children. These were the people who hired men named Pittman to kidnap and torture me, and then call the memories digging in the dirt for gold nuggets. Penis Gabriel and Trumpetoon literally called excavating terrorized memories from an impacted neuroplasm, digging in the dirt for gold. That's how zero their morality content is. And Penis was calling himself the spokesperson for Amnesty International. It's hard to put together what gaslighting is when you're saying we get to torture you and you don't even get to scream. That's violent. That's a threat. Craig is really off the deep end, and her little boy Sean. They definitely need warrants issued. They're really psychotic, dangerous, evil, leapfrog oligarch zodiac killers. Zell spoke as reported, and that can only mean one thing. Exactly what I've said all along. So lie to yourselves all you want to, but don't darken my doors with your Hollywood miracle machine, your jet set, and your persecution of people's private dreams as overly lascivious. The Coral brothers think that the fossil fuel machine is Weezo become it. They put out something with addition to cover stories for Ono, one of the gang who tortured me as a child in custody. Imprisoned in custody was their word. They use the word imprisoned as a child hostage. These brutal pedophiles in Highland Park was Flame Over Africa, where back in the 70s, he was prophesying what the Weezo machine of James Watt and Carl were after with the fossil fuel gagging and choking and I'm the walrus and breathe deep from that horrible lampoon of a generation called Hair that Amanda Harcourt weirds everybody out with hysteria and super values by representing along with the Croquet reduced to coronavirus. And they just play the odds. People are going to want to deny. So they play the odds. Hey, man, build some momentum, man. Let them throw in COVID-19, man. Purification ritual some more and poison them in the mouth. And they have this sensibilities, Taliban. You aren't even allowed to question them because they have this person who's been, Lou Reed proved that God is a black man with red hair. Everybody knows that. I mean, you can't out-hire us with no nonce but something like Lou Reed.